Broadcasting across California, California's only statewide political show. You're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michaelson. On this Thanksgiving week, we take a step back from the contentious political debates and focus on the issues of gratitude. In that spirit, we're also focusing on purpose, family, and service. And I can't think of anybody better to talk about those principles as our guests this week. I am so grateful that they are both with us. Maria Shriver, of course, is one of the best-known people in our entire state. She is a mother, philanthropist, journalist, the former First Lady of California, so many other things. You can check out her words of wisdom twice a week now in her Sunday paper, which you can find at mariashriver.com. Maria's son, Patrick, is a star in every sense of the word. He's a serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, model, and actor. Here is his latest film role, Echo Boomers. It's available on demand now. He stars with Michael Shannon and Alex Pettyfer in this action crime drama. Maria and Patrick, welcome back to The Issue Is. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us. We love being here with you. Patrick, look at that.
Thank you. That was one of the best introductions I've ever had.
Excellent. Well, we checked in with both of you during the early days of quarantine. Here we are, all these months later, now a second wave. The theme of this show is gratitude, and I'm curious to hear from each of you, starting with you, Maria. What does gratitude, what does that word mean to you, especially in the context of where our world is right now?
Well, I have a gratitude practice, actually, that gets me through every week. Every morning I wake up, and expressing gratitude is the first thing I do. I give thanks that I actually opened my eyes. I give thanks to God for allowing my feet to touch the floor. And when I go downstairs and make my coffee, I actually sit down and kind of think about my life and think about everything that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my children, that they're here, that they're healthy. I'm grateful for the home that I live in. I'm grateful that my brothers are healthy, that my family is, supportive. There's so many things that I try to kind of list off on my gratitude practice in the morning and at night, and it helps me center myself for the day. I'm a big believer in having a gratitude practice. Some people like to write it down. Some people just like to think it. Some people like to act on it every day. So I'm a big believer that it can actually help you get through a day.
Patrick, what about you? Gratitude.
Oh, well, she articulated it really well, so I'll follow up, just reiterating what she said. But, I think that one of the things that I've, truly noticed during COVID and during this pandemic is finding ways to be grateful. I think that a lot of people have been really struggling during these times, businesses, individuals, all across our nation and across the world. So, I think first off and foremost is health, right? The fact that I'm healthy and my mom and my dad and siblings are healthy. I think that's, probably the top thing that I'm always grateful for, especially right now. And coming up to Thanksgiving, the fact that I'm getting to be with my family, getting to, still have food and be at a dinner table with each other. Those are the things that I'm extremely grateful for right now.
Maria, you explore issues like gratitude and other big issues in the Sunday paper, which people can get now, not only on Sunday, but in the middle of the week as well. For people that haven't subscribed at your website, mariashriver.com, what is some of the most important pieces of advice that they can get from that experience?
The Sunday paper has really been a labor of love. It's grown organically into, a very solid subscription base. Millions of people read it. And I think it's because it's a safe place. It has news and views curated to kind of rise above the noise. Its focus is to inspire you, to help you move forward in your life. So we try to elevate the voices of people who are working in all areas of human endeavor. And we try to give them a platform for their voices. We try to curate news that's helpful, that will move you forward. And we try to explore the issues that comprise a meaningful life. So whether it's gratitude, whether it's making sense of the news, whether it's reassuring reassuring people that it's going to be okay. I've been around a long time. I've lived through a lot of things. I can kind of step back and step up very often and kind of look at, people say, this is the worst it's ever been. I've lived through the 60s. I lived through the riots in 68. I've lived in Washington when it was burning. I've lived through assassinations. I've lived through impeachment hearings. So I've lived through a lot, and I've seen the United States come through a lot. I've seen people not get along and get along. I've seen peaceful riots and violent riots, and I've seen the best of humanity. And so I constantly try to focus on the best of humanity. I try to focus on the issues that bring us together. There is a lot of people that focus always on the division, on the fear, on the anger, and I try to focus on what we have in common. And I have Republican friends, I have independent friends, I have Democratic friends. I worked as a Democratic First Lady in a Republican administration. So I believe that there's a lot that we can do together. And I believe in the soul of this country and the heart of this country.
And this country needs healing right now, which is why it's so important to talk about a lot of these issues. And the way you've talked about your family, I think, is so meaningful as well. Here's one passage that I thought was really inspiring. We put it up on the screen. I've always been a seeker, and now I've discovered what I've been seeking has been right smack in front of me my whole life. It's love, it's acceptance, it's understanding. It's love of who I am, not the family I come from. It's acceptance of who I've become and who I am becoming, which I thought was so profound when talking about your children and your family and what matters.
Yeah, I think, people grow up and no matter where you grow up, you think, I have to be successful. I have to achieve. Oh, if only I win an Oscar, if I get a best-selling book, then maybe I'll feel enough, right? And what you come to learn is that's an inside job.
Right.
That no Oscar, no Emmy, no best-selling book is going to do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. And I think being well-loved, and I think that's the role of a parent, right, to make your children feel well-loved, and that's a gift. And I think you have to do it for yourself, too. I think, kind of getting to a place where you feel a sense of peace within yourself and okay with what you're doing, right, and then try to live a meaningful life. That's really the brass ring. I think people think the brass ring might be a fancy car, a fancy watch, or all these other things. And I've lived long enough to know that that's not the brass ring. The brass ring is this. The brass ring is working on things that you love, being at a table with people that you love. It's really simple. It's kind of, nobody talks about it, but that's what it's about.
Well, and speaking of awards, though, I think Patrick deserves an award for his host work that he did with you at the beginning part of this pandemic, the Home Together series, where we saw the two of you together, and he got to show off his skills as a broadcaster. Not only do you have those skills, you also have the skills as an actor as well. Echo boomers coming out in the middle of this whole pandemic. People are viewing films in different ways. What was this experience like for you, and what's the sort of response been as people sort of can go into a dark place with you?
Well, first off, thank you for the compliment on my hosting skills. I think we're going to have to maybe bring that back now that we're maybe going home again, 2.0. But yeah, I mean, it was a really amazing experience to film that movie Echo Boomers with Michael Shannon. Obviously it has a lot of political commentary throughout the film and commentary about society and the economic division. So I think it was pretty, relevant to what was happening today. And unfortunately, theaters are closed. So, we can't go down that route, but you can watch it online, on demand, on Apple TV, Amazon, etc. So it's actually been kind of a blessing in disguise because more people are at home and willing to watch things and don't have as much activities to go do on the weekend. So it's been really great so far.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. I thought he was so great in it, and it really did. It explores the issue of student loans, right? It explores the issue of so many young people who've just gotten out of college, who have these incredible degrees, and then they go to try to get a minimum wage job, and how do they pay back their loans, and how do they, get a job where they can raise their families and live in a city like LA, which is so expensive. So I think that you've been really great talking about those issues that are so front and center for your generation and people older than you who are still paying off.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, having nothing to do with the film, but during our home togethers when we were talking to, doing Small Business Saturday, and we were talking to different business owners, or even my brother who just graduated Michigan and, a top university, and all of his friends' jobs got taken away the days after they graduated. So it's a really, interesting market that we're in right now, when we see the Dow, cross 30,000 for the first time ever, and we're having this huge economic boom in the market, and then at the same time we have however many millions of people unemployed and people that are in massive debts from student loans that are promised these amazing jobs after going through our economic system, only to find out that they're in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt.
Right.
And I think that's also, what I thought is so interesting, that you just talked about the Dow hitting this record high. And also we see these long lines of people all over the country, lines in the United States of America. And I was sitting at home last night, watching an interview with a woman who said she'd always volunteered in food pantries, and now she's the person getting food from the food pantry. And you hear that all over this country. And so when we get back to kind of grateful or gratitude, there's so many great organizations that are out there right now feeding America, bringing food to people during the holidays that don't have meals. It's really so simple, like $1, 10 meals you can get through Feeding America. There's so many things we can all do to help our fellow, human beings. And that's what I always try to concentrate on, that we can all help people. We can all help each other by loving each other, by listening to each other, by understanding each other, and by doing really basic things, helping people with diapers, helping people with food, helping people with housing and lodging. There's so many opportunities for us to come together in our country today.
Yeah, and that's one of the unfortunate parts of this pandemic, is the class divide has gotten even worse. There are some bright spots of 2020. You became a grandmother, Maria. How's that going?
Yeah, I did. I have to say that I had no idea what that was going to be like. He became an uncle.
I forgot you're a grandmother. I've never really heard anyone say it.
What word do you use? Do you use grandma? What do you say?
No, I have my own little kind of private thing going on with my granddaughter. Yeah. So we have our own conversation, our own language. I have my own name. And I just am beside myself about it. I get a picture every morning or a video, and it really turns my world around, really. Speaking of being grateful, I'm so grateful that I'm alive to see my grandchild. Your dad and I were talking about that the other day, that we just kind of can't believe that, our oldest daughter has a baby. It's wild. And that we're both able to see that. It's a gift. It's a blessing, and I don't take that for granted. There are people my age who don't get to my age, right? And who never have that chance to see a grandchild. And so that's one of the things that I thank God for every day.
We got to take a quick break. Up next, more with Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger. But first, a reminder to log on to our website, theissueisshow.com. Also, you can email us, theissueis@foxtv.com. And on our website, you can subscribe to our podcast as well. A lot of bonus features there. Stay with us. More The Issue Is right after this. We're talking with Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger on this Thanksgiving week. Like so many of you, it's a time to reflect on our families. Speaking of family, your family has always been about service, of course. Your father, the late, great Sargent Shriver, helped to create the Peace Corps in this country. After his Alzheimer's, you've become a driving force behind the women's Alzheimer's movement, which still needs help during the pandemic. You were just talking about this concept that the need for these nonprofits is even greater than it was before, and yet a lot of people aren't able to give in this moment.
Yeah, so you just have to stay the course. You just have to stay working. We gave our report to Governor Newsom last Thursday for the path forward for California. I've been running the task force for the state of California for the last year to try to figure out how California can be better prepared to handle the Alzheimer's tsunami. if people can't fund the women's Alzheimer's movement, there are things maybe they can do in their local Alzheimer's home in their community. Maybe they can go by and wave in front of the window. Maybe there's, a stuffed animal that they can send over. There's so many opportunities to be of service. And the Alzheimer's crisis is one that's here to stay. I'm very hopeful that President-elect Biden will do something about it. He's talked about it in the past. He believes in research. He believes in the data. He believes in helping this issue. And when a president focuses on an issue, it changes how people perceive the issue. And I think the same will be said for Governor Newsom. So I'm hopeful.
A few more quick questions. Patrick, your grandmother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, taught you a lot about service as well. She helped to found the Special Olympics as a tribute to her sister. How has seeing those games shaped your perspective about gratitude, service, and perspective itself during these times?
Perspective-wise, I think that one of the kind of beautiful things about my grandmother was kind of her determination, to see the long haul, just as my mom was talking about it. I think that so many times people kept telling her, no, she couldn't do this. Why would she do this? Why are you focusing on people with disabilities? Why is there, why are you doing the Olympics for that? All these different things. And she had a very clear, mindset of where she wanted to go with this and to give them the acknowledgement that they deserve. So I think as far as perspective, that can go hand in hand with what a lot of people are feeling right now of, trying to focus on the long haul and that we will get through this time together.
Both of my parents really focused, as Patrick said, I think on the long haul. And I think anybody in the kind of changing or moving humanity forward business understands whether you're working on behalf of the environment, whether you're working on behalf of homelessness, whether you're working on women's rights, all of these things take a really long time. And I think that's the most important thing that particularly young people need to realize, that things don't happen overnight, that they take sometimes decades. My uncle fought for health care his entire life, and it was only after he died that it was passed. My dad started, Head Start, Job Corps, legal services for the poor, and we're still fighting poverty in this country. And Mommy fought for Special Olympics, for the rights for the mentally disabled, and still there's huge challenges for that community when it comes to employment and health care and education. So you just got to stay at it, right?
Yeah, well, but what you're saying, though, is proof that one person can change the world, and all of those individuals did change the world because of that work as well. All right, we got to take another break, but more with Maria and Patrick when we come back. We're going to play personal issues. We're going to play the name game. Speaking of the name game, what's the one word she would use to describe her own kids and her son-in-law? Stay with us. More of the issue is after this. We're back with Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger. All right, two quick 30-second games before I let you go. Patrick, we're going to play a game called Personal Issues. This is where we put 30 seconds on the clock and we get to know you a little bit better. Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
All right. Favorite athlete?
Kobe Bryant.
Favorite alcoholic drink?
Tequila.
Best thing about being a Californian?
Oh, the taxes, man.
Favorite band or musical artist?
What?
Favorite band or musical artist?
Oh, Kanye West.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
And who's your role model?
Mama.
Mama. That's a good answer, especially when Mama's sitting next to you. Look at that. Oh, my God. I'm so jealous. Maria, the next game for you, it's something called the name game. This is where we say the name of some well-known figures. And you say the first word or phrase that comes to mind when you hear this person's name. But we thought it would be fun if the names are of your kids. So here we go. Catherine Schwarzenegger.
Loving.
Christina.
Kind, caring.
Patrick.
Sweet, funny, loving.
Christopher.
Empathetic.
And a bonus, your son-in-law, Chris Pratt.
Sweet, kind, and he loves his wife. and his family.
One last break. Up next, we wrap things up with some dessert. And speaking of that, we'll talk to Patrick about his incredible love of ice cream. What is it about Patrick's pints? Stay with us. More of The Issue Is after this. As we go, every good conversation, just like every good meal, needs a bit of a dessert. So, Patrick, I know you're obsessed with ice cream. You've got Patrick's Pints on your Instagram page. There's a separate Instagram page just about ice cream and your love for ice cream. What is it about ice cream that you love so much? And as a connoisseur, can you give us some advice if we're going ice cream shopping?
Ooh, I don't know what I just love ice cream. It's delicious. But as far as top flavors to go out there and get, well, I don't know. I would say go and try to support a local ice cream shop around your neighborhood or community. That's what I always try to do, and especially for Thanksgiving. I know that a lot of restaurants are forced to be closed and can do things to go, and same with ice cream shops, scoop shops, coffee shops, etc. So I'm going to go support a few of the local ice cream stores around here, Sweet Rose, McConnell's, and Rory's, Salt and Straw, etc. So go buy from some of the smaller boutique size stores.
You can't go buy any more ice cream. We have no more. We have to move out. There is no more room for ice cream in our house. It's like, but I think that, the Patrick's Pints kind of tells you a lot about Patrick. It's creative. It's really funny. He's acting his whole way through. It's inventive. It's innovative. And it's charming.
Yeah, and it makes me hungry every time. Well, we've talked about some of the bright spots of 2020. Not only do we have the grandchild coming this year, but Patrick, you may be the only person that's more of a Lakers fan than me. So not only do we have the Lakers winning this year, but also the Dodgers winning this year. So we end with some music, a little I Love L.A. How sweet has that been, though, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
Maria Shriver, Patrick Schwarzenegger, thank you both so much. Thank you for all the good work you do on this week of gratitude. I'm grateful for both of you. Thank you all for watching The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michaelson. We'll see you next time.